Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. Before we get into the podcast, I just want to do a quick shout out for BMT tax depreciation reports. Now, for my two rental properties, I've had a BMT tax depreciation report done on those. And at tax time, I can get up to $25,000 worth of tax deductions. That's a lot of money. And for your property owners, would you believe a lot of them don't know the savings that they can be getting? And every rental property can still have some type of tax depreciation. So get in contact with the guys at BMT, talk to them about how you as a property manager and a property management agency can be serving your clients in Australia about getting the maximum tax deductions for their rental properties. Take care. Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here, and I'm with Deniz, Yusuf, and we are Inspired Growth Training, and we have an absolute treat today, a very special guest and a person that's close to us in our IGT inner circle. And welcome Ashleigh Goodchild to the PM Growth Expert Show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. And just so you know, if you're watching the video podcast, of course, we've got the full audio series on Spotify, Podbean, or on iTunes podcast as well to go over there. And also, if you are not listening to your BDM coach, it's about time that you started to listen and go to our BDM Coach podcast show as well on Spotify, iTunes, or on Podbean as well, and subscribe to that show as well, where you get the best BDM teaching with Deniz and with Michael as well. Now, Ashleigh is the one of the directors at SoCo Realty based in South Perth in Western Australia. And Ashleigh, we talked about this before, but you say you've got 21 years of property management experience. And I was saying you don't look like you've even been out of school for 21 years. And you told me that you still get asked for your ID to confirm that you're over 18. So you're doing pretty well.
I'm jealous.
Thanks, Darren. Only every now and then, but yeah, when I can go out, that is as well.
That's awesome. Look, Ashleigh, like everyone else, we were friends on Facebook for how many years before we actually got to meet in person? You know, it's a beautiful thing, Facebook. And I remember, Darren, it was our second tour that we did together in 2018 with Steve, and Ash had bought a ticket, and I messaged or I emailed, I can't remember, and said, hey, you know, thanks for coming. It'd be great to catch up with you. And Ash's reply was, yep, I've been using other trainers. I thought I would come and see what you guys have got to offer and give it a go. And I went, okay, challenge accepted, you know. That's cool.
We've known Ashleigh for years, though. I mean, I remember Ashleigh doing some training in your office many, many years ago. So it's not like we were an unknown.
Yeah, but no. Darren, you're a superstar. I'm not known.
That's cool.
I was giving Deniz a go, not Darren.
Anyway, and I mean, look, seeing so much what you've been doing, and I really look forward to doing this podcast with you today, because what you've done just in that short period of time since we did first meet to now is great. It's phenomenal to see you've really stamped your authority in the Perth marketplace as an authority. You know, I was talking to a good friend of mine and Darren's, and you know her as well, Shoshana, only a couple of days ago. And I mean, she absolutely stamped her authority there as well. And I said, Shoshana, step up, because we're doing a podcast with Ashleigh.
I think if I just like to say, Ashleigh, yeah, your goal is to stamp your authority in the you know, the inner city Perth market in your South Perth area. You've done that very, very well, but inadvertently, you've become an influencer in the property management industry over Australia and New Zealand as well, because social media is not just confined within the boundaries of the South Perth suburb. It leaks out everywhere. And no doubt you've even got a following in America as well. So you've certainly caught my attention. I've known you for a very, very long time, but particularly in the last year, I think we've talked about certain life events seem to have triggered something off in you, but you've really come out. You just like this, you know, this influence in the industry. You've really sprouted some amazing butterfly wings, and we're seeing a lady that it's got so much potential now, taking advantage of that and moving into who you really are. It's really good to see.
And I think what for me was is a really main focus is that I was getting really tired of seeing sales reps and glamorize is not the right word, but sales reps, they glamorize themselves. They always have the shiny car, the shiny shoes, the shiny Facebook pages. They always do. They are so good at their personal branding because they have to be good at their personal branding because they rely on their payday for that, their commission. But property managers don't do that. So for me, it's a really an interesting space that I want to create, more publicity about, is the importance of property managers to personally brand themselves, take responsibility for their own careers, and see ourselves as an important part of the business and just not the second cousin. And I remember speaking to a new client the other day, and we're talking about this, and she said, "Oh, Ash, it's really, really funny because my other property manager has just been upgraded to a sales rep." She goes, "What's that about?" She goes, "That's not an upgrade." She goes, "Property management, why are we not seen as a glamorous position?" The same with any role, whether it's a BDM role, property management, leasing consultant. But yeah, owning that role and having that profile accordingly, I think is really important for everybody.
So I think if out there, go and have a look and see what Ashleigh is doing. Go to Instagram and go to Perth Property Manager. And you'll find Ashleigh there. Also on LinkedIn, her stuff's really good. Just look for Ashleigh Goodchild on LinkedIn. Where else, Ashleigh, have you been spreading your influencer wings? What other platforms can people go to?
Well, definitely LinkedIn is like the big thing for me. So I probably spend maybe 70% of my time focusing on that, because that's where my current clients and my potential clients are. My Perth Property Manager, my Instagram is very much for the industry and for motivation with property managers, but I leverage off everything. So for example, if I create a video, I put that on LinkedIn, that goes on YouTube. I convert that video into text. It's then a blog. Then all of that, whether it's the blog or the video, that then goes to my database as my weekly newsletter. So I manage my social media that way. I think you've got to be over all platforms, but the majority is LinkedIn at the moment.
Yeah, you certainly do have to be omnipresent. And I want to take it a step back, because you spoke about the sales reps looking all shiny, etc. And it's not being derogative to them. It's a good point. They have to market themselves. Now you're in a BDM position. You have to market yourself, right? You've got to put yourself out there. And let's be honest, the BDM is the salesperson of property management. Your job is to, have your online presence out there. So well done for recognizing that and making it a priority. And I've got no doubt that you're going to have some American and UK followers starting to follow you as well. I have noticed, because I've got quite a few American friends, that you are already friends with some of them. So it's
okay.
Yeah, that it's happening, and no doubt it'll happen even more. You're doing a great job. That first training that you came to us, Darren spoke on maximizing fees, as he does, because he's like the genius of it. I spoke about video and strategies to grow the rent roll, and Steve spoke about, his topic there as well, mindset and stuff. And I remember we're waiting for you to get picked up outside the Novotel at Perth, and you said, "Deniz, I don't think putting your fees up can work. Blah, blah, blah." And Darren, the big butt that gets in the way. And this video thing, you know what, I might give it a go. But, I'm happy plodding along how I go.
Yeah.
Deniz said, "Challenge accepted. Look forward to catching up again,"
But if you also remember, Ashleigh was in a different place in her life then too.
Yeah.
And she's come a long way since that time. And without, talking about stuff, but Ashleigh, it's just great to see you've really come out of your shell, and you're not the lady that I used to know. So
No, definitely a lot has changed.
Yeah, in a good way.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So why did you join real estate? What got you into real estate?
Well, I was actually studying naturopathy, and I had done that for a few years, and as any sort of 17, 18-year-old goes, you chase the money. So for me, I I had about 100 hours of prac massages that I had to do. And then I thought I'll go get a little job at a local real estate agency. And this local real estate agency in Fremantle had, the owner had just passed away, and it was bought by a pilot and a flight attendant. And so I thought I'll just go in there and I'll get a little reception job while I'm finishing off these prac hours. But then these owners didn't really have any idea what they were doing. So within literally weeks, they were like, Ash, can you start doing this? Can you start doing that? Can you do some property management, some strata? Within about 3 months, I was paying everybody and doing, you know, everything that needed to be done.
Yeah.
And then I was then getting paid accordingly. And then those massages looked not as exciting anymore, and that's pretty much how it was. But I was given a lot of control and also put into the deep end as an 18-year-old into a poorly run real estate agency. They had no idea, I had no idea, but at least I had the energy to work out how to do it, and that's how I started.
It's the typical way really for a lot of people that joined the industry. There's a minute percentage that were at school, put their hand up and said, I want to be a real estate agent. Yeah, a lot of people fall into the industry. I fell into the industry as well, and I know plenty of people that most people listening probably fell into the industry.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people also started at reception, you know, as a job out of school, and now they own a real estate office. You know,
Yeah.
That's crazy. So tell us a little bit about your office, your structure, you know, your team, your environment, etc.
So we are very much a family-owned, community sort of based real estate agency. We have 550 properties under management, so we're considered medium sized in Perth. We are close to the city. We are in a very more affluent area. But we do have a lot of low end. We're very diverse. So I've got properties for 200 per week, and then properties for 1,100 per week.
Wow.
So it is a big difference. We are very hyper local. So for me, it's very important to support the local businesses. They support us in return. You know, when I take the kids up to school, my clients are up there. When I go to Coles to go to my food shop, my clients are there. But I really do like immersing myself in that community spirit. Our office, we have a lot of long-term staff. We've got 3 that were due for long service leave this year. Which is great. They're very loyal to me. I am very, very lucky to have such a great team. But then I also show flexibility on their part, where they if they have a sports carnival or an assembly where their child's getting a merit certificate, they know that it's okay to take that time off to go make sure that they do those important things as well. And I think that's, for me, probably the key to keeping longer term staff. Our property management is definitely the strongest part of our department. We do have a sales team as well, which is very reputable, but just small, and they just work their clients as opposed to having a really big marketing section. So
That's brilliant. Look, it sounds like you've got an amazing culture. Massive point of difference. Not too many people, and Darren, you know, you've been in the industry for 40, 50 years longer than me, so you would know. How many people can say that they've got 3 staff on long service leave this year?
Oh,
Not
look,
many people.
I can only probably think of one other business, maybe in Adelaide, that boasts a near 0 staff turnover. You know, that's amazing. That says a lot about your culture.
Yeah, well done.
You know, for owners out there, property owners out there that just see 4 property managers in a year turning over all the time, that's a great point of difference to any owners out there who have been stung.
Yeah, we all know about that wheel, right? That door.
And it's also like with my staff, it's quite funny that I probably, they're just as passionate about the business as what I am. So they're really advocates. Like one of the girls was at the pharmacy and she was in line waiting for whatever. And she got talking to a guy in the line who happened to be a developer. So she pulls out her card and gives him a card. Then I've got, you know, sometimes when I'm a very relaxed business owner. So sometimes I would say to my staff, oh, listen, if you've got to go out, just put a note on the door. And they're like, no, that is not what we're going to do. You know, I will make sure when someone's here to cover. So I'm a bit more relaxed and saying, guys, don't worry about it. And they're very much, no, this is the way that's got to be done. So I'm very lucky that they are as passionate and as supportive of the business doing well, and it's not just on my shoulders.
It certainly starts at the top, right? It does start at the top. They've caught your vision, they've caught your passion for the industry, and just listening to you, right? People, no doubt, listening to this right now are already going to be falling in love with you and catching your passion. It certainly does come out. Now, on that, right, if you were to meet yourself knowing what you know now about the industry, I often talk about, you're about to walk into that office for the first time, someone taps you on your shoulder, you turn around and it's you, right? What advice do you give yourself? What are you going to tell yourself before you walk in the door?
Well, I've had a very, very good career. Like, I've been very fortunate. I think number one, it's always really important to understand that mistakes happen, and definitely not to beat yourself up about it. So that's really important to me. I think joining a network group, if I would have liked to have more support earlier on in the game, that would have been pretty important, I think. But the other thing that I kick myself that I didn't do this, I really do wish I did, is probably taking more statistics. Like, I'm not really a statistics person, and I wish that I had developed that database from day one and documented my conversion rate from day one, and just really documented so I could see the growth. That's something that I still am not 100% at doing, but I wish that I did that from day one.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Now, if you were to start a business from scratch, from zero, like if you were to go out and start all over again, what do you think would be your top 3 strategies that you would put in place in focusing on those growth?
It's all going to be social media, to be honest. It will be like, so what I've been doing in the last, say, 18 months really strong, imagine if I was doing that 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Like, it's just crazy to even think of being ahead of the game so early on in the piece, and trusting what people say, and you know what I mean, and just going, I'm just going to give it a go. First, I'm talking about social media, but giving it a go now and just see what happens. So the 3 strategies that I would put in place will definitely be the LinkedIn, maintaining my database on that. It's really what I'm doing now. LinkedIn, more communication with the database, and then I would make sure that I've got exterior marketing happening as well within the community. So that could be in the forms of sponsorships, letterbox drops, flyers, etc. I really work on a 3-layer marketing plan, a little bit for the community, a little bit for your internal community, which is your database, and then your social. So it's pretty simple. Those 3 things is all I would be doing, which is what I'm doing now.
And the synergy for the 3, they really do need to be working together. And I mean, we're talking about it before the podcast.
I'd like to jump in. Let's just talk, if I can just ask and just go a little bit deeper, Ashleigh. A lot of people look at LinkedIn with a big question mark over their head. They're just like, I've got no idea how to use LinkedIn for business. It's just a big electronic Rolodex, or a collection of business cards and stuff on there that people are likely not even looking at. I put stuff on there and I only get 1 like or 2 likes. So what are the top 3 things have you found using LinkedIn? Now, you said that you leave your Instagram for your influencer stuff for the industry, but LinkedIn is for you and getting new business with prospective clients. So what are the top 3 things that people should be doing now with LinkedIn, with their business, that they can start getting some growth traction using that particular platform?
Love this question. Number 1, on LinkedIn, when you open up the app on your phone, there's a section that says My Network. And if you click on that, you can find all your Outlook and your phone contacts. And you just have to click on Outlook contacts and phone contacts, And you just go through and you just connect with all those people. So that is number one. Those people have already connected with you in some way or form because they're on your phone. So connect with every single one of those people. So that's definitely the first tip. I always have a shortcut keyboard message for my connections where I would send them a little message just to say, thanks for connecting. I am busy educating landlords in Perth. I hope you enjoy my content and I look forward to learning something from you too. Something like simple like that. That's the first tip. The second tip with LinkedIn is I will find people within my community. So again, it's so simple. Like you just search South Perth, or you just search local schools, local businesses, local councils, and connect with all those people. So that's my second tip, to develop a new database there. And then the third tip is that whenever I get in touch, or someone gets in touch with me for new business, like within about 5 minutes, they are added to my LinkedIn. And that is a really great way of getting that cold lead to immediately start being a warm lead. They can see me every single day. They can see what I'm about. They can see my energy. And then generally when I go out and I see them in person, my conversion rate is a lot higher because they feel like they know me, because they see me every day and I don't have to sit and call them every day, because they get to see me very subtly. So they're my 3 super, super easy tips that I would be doing.
Some great tips there, and that was unprompted. You didn't know that question was coming. So
No.
well done on that. And of course, the best way, if you want to learn LinkedIn to get more property management business, it's really easy. Just go and watch what Ashleigh does. So go to LinkedIn and connect with Ashleigh Goodchild there. While you're at it, go and connect up with Melissa Hickson as well, another superstar from our IGT Inner Circle. Of course, if you're not part of the Inner Circle, just go to the IGT Inspired Growth Training Facebook page, go join group. There are 3 questions. We do ask or implore that you answer those so we know who you are, or just go to the IGT Inner Circle on Facebook and you'll find Ashleigh, Melissa, and a lot of other superstars in there as well.
They don't answer the questions, they don't get in. It's as simple as that. I've heard there's a strict gatekeeper that is very harsh and ensures that the culture of the group is kept to the best standard they possibly can. Ashleigh, so talking about LinkedIn, talking about social media, etc., there's a difference to being on social and being in social, right? And you know, a lot of people back in 2009, I remember I attended a conference that Darren was actually speaking at, etc. And there was one, and I'd been screaming at my boss saying, we need a Facebook page, we need an online presence, that's where people are, you know, back then. And yes, once we attended a conference and some expert said, let's do it, our company did it. And so I actually did use Facebook as a strategy back then in local groups. Now, so that's being in social, that's doing it. A lot of people, no doubt, go to a conference or an event and they do what there's been said. Oh, they said do it, let's do it, but they don't know what to do. You, however, have turned that on its back and you've implemented, and I believe you're mastering it. You know, like some of the things that you're talking about, and I'd like you to share that a little bit later. I'd like to get into a couple more questions, but you really are doing social well. And you know, you're talking about the LinkedIn, that third tip of connecting with them. It's becoming top of mind. They trust you, they like you, so they want to use you. You're drawing those people around you. So well done. And it certainly shows why your staff feel the same about it as well within the office. So, you know, that's brilliant. So,
and just touch, also, I was just going to touch on that. You're absolutely right. Like with trusting, like the process, or trusting people that say, like, you know, with your Facebook, because that's how I got onto LinkedIn. When some, you know, trainer had said to me, you've got to be on LinkedIn. And I'm like, that's just an old man's club. Like, seriously. But I had to trust and say, you know what? He knows more than me with regards to LinkedIn. I'm going to trust that and I'm going to do it. And that's why I committed to it. But people have to commit to it for a good 6 or 12 months. I mean, now, like the other day, I had a call from someone who called me up and he was very, quite assertive. He was just like, listen, my name's Barbara. I have seen you on LinkedIn. I like your energy and I want to book you in to see you on Wednesday, the 29th of September at this time. And I was like, beautiful. So it does work when people can see you, see your energy and see what you're about.
I think social media is one of those hard things to measure with performance. People just don't ring up generally and say, hey, look, I just saw your Facebook story. I want to sign up now. But it comes out in connection. It comes out in conversation. It comes out with people that see you in the street and they talk to you like they know you and you're thinking, I've never seen you in my life. Or people come up to you and just connection, conversation starters. And it just, how have you found that, Ashleigh? Have you actually been able to tangibly measure your social media work as a return with management agreements that have been signed? What sort of return have you actually been able to see?
Well, I'm not a numbers girl in terms of documenting it, but I can, so for me, I also believe in databasing your database. So my LinkedIn, yes, I get people directly call me up and say, I've seen you on LinkedIn, I'm friends with you on LinkedIn, and I'd like you to come out. So absolutely. Where I get my biggest benefit from LinkedIn though is the referrals, definitely. So the referrals are maybe from a friend on LinkedIn that sees me all the time and they've got a friend who wants to rent out their property. My referrals are very, very high, and I do believe that they are from LinkedIn because that's where all my clients are and that's where they see me. So I'm always first of mind for them. But the other direct benefit is definitely that warm lead. Like I go into a new management appointment and I don't have to sell myself because they know already what I'm about. I go in there, I don't take fees, I don't discuss fees at that appointment because I'm the type of person that sends it to them beforehand. But I go in there and all I am there for is for them to see me in person, to confirm what they've seen online. And I'm there to talk about a marketing plan for their property and how I think their property is best marketed. That's it.
That's brilliant. It certainly is brilliant. It's all that top of mind. Darren, yesterday I received 2 messages from 2 of our clients. One I'd met in person last week, and I said, get onto Instagram, get onto your online presence and make it happen. She sent me an email yesterday, an Instagram message saying, oh my goodness, I set up an Instagram account and just on that one post, I've created leads and this is for a commercial agent, right? And I said, great, that's fantastic. And another superstar that we know, Melanie Poole, she put a big post in the group about Instagram saying how it's got her new business as well. It works. These 2 people and yourself, you're the ones that are implementing and becoming online present and making it happen. It's not too late, people, to join social media. It's not too late.
And with Instagram, so again, I've just started getting direct leads from that. And where that's come from is the businesses, the local businesses that I support, whether in my video, whether it's just engaging with them on social media. They not only do they refer business, but now I've actually got the business owners who message me directly and say, hey, I've got a property I want you to look after. So that Instagram, I find, really taps into the business community side of things and that database.
Now, you need to share what you said to me last week when you actually went to a shop and one of your friends rang you up. What did they say? Tell us the story, what happened there.
Oh, so I think that was when I was at Based Aesthetics doing my video, and I fell in love with this new business that I found in South Perth. And as a direct result from that, I had 2 people call me up and say, oh, Ash, I didn't even know that place was there. Is this where you go and get your eyebrows done? Is this where you go and get that done? And I was like, yeah. So that business actually got 2 new clients, but it shared it with everyone, but it just shows that it does get noticed. And then not only have I got now friends being referred to their business, I am seen to that business as someone of good character, someone who supports them. And I know if someone walks in having their eyebrows waxed and someone goes, oh, I'm looking for a rental property at the moment, I'm really busy, I know that they will say, hey, give Ash a call at SoCo.
There's some good news. There's some really good news coming out of this. Deniz, you've got a new place in South Perth to go get your eyebrows done now.
It's been a while.
That monobrow.
You can't tell, but trust me, there's hair there.
There's hair in the middle. Oh, that's good.
So Ashleigh, I appreciate you'll be able to pick me up at the airport and drive me straight there next time I'm in Perth when I'm allowed to fly.
Absolutely. Well, Deniz, I'm going to tell you something really funny. This is a little bit off topic, but I want you after this podcast to go Google eyebrow lamination. So this is what this space aesthetic company does. They also do eyebrow lamination. And I'm just thinking of, because with your eyebrows, they're quite long, and you'll see how they can like position them. So anyway, Google that later for a bit of fun.
I will. Now, in my defence, I am a foreigner. Okay, I'm a foreigner to Australia. My dad and my mum are Turkish. Okay, so I've got the genes. Yes, I'm a wog. I'm allowed to say it because I am one. But my chest, there's no hair on my back and chest. Okay, it's all here. Now, oh look, we can bring up lots of things in these podcasts. Now, Ash, I think you've already answered it, but what is your favourite rent roll growth strategy? What's your favourite prospecting that you're doing?
Oh, it has to be LinkedIn. It really does. It's the only one that captures current clients plus new clients plus referrals. Like, it captures everything. You know what I mean? You can do your letterbox drops and that's fine. And there is a reason why you need to do that. But that is only creating, cold leads, people that don't know you. You really just need to be tapping into that referral network and creating those warm leads. And I really do believe LinkedIn is the best platform for that.
Yeah, very well said. And it's interesting, as trainers, we're always out there saying you need to network with your strategic alliance. People attend BNI's, Chamber of Commerce, whatever meetings they go to. That's only one meeting. That's only meeting them once. You've only got that one opportunity. LinkedIn is 24/7. And I must say, I love your strategy in sending them the message, because, we all get over, someone connects with you and then they're selling to you. I get real estate people trying to sell virtual assistants to us, or they're, are you looking for leads for real estate? And I go, did you even read my bio? Like we have a virtual assistant company. I'm a real estate trainer, not a real estate office, So it's just that they're those people that are connecting with everyone, but there really is a lot of power in those strategic alliances in becoming top of mind.
What you said also before, Ashleigh, regarding you got my network, and anyone that you've connected with, you've got their email address, you've got their phone number, whatever, you're inserting them into there. And I've learned, certainly through the marketing study that I've been doing lately, you can't do business with cold people. People these days, it's not about finding you in the phone book, because the phone book doesn't exist anymore. They're not just going to look you up, or they look like a real estate agent, I'll use them. It's all about trust. And so by taking LinkedIn and making sure that anyone that you're networking with, so people out there, if you're listening, this means any prospective clients that you've dealt with, including your current clients, anyone that has the power to bring you business, you just spreadsheet them, obviously their email address, their name, their phone numbers, all those sorts of things. And then with my network function in LinkedIn, insert them in there, and then have your regular posts, your regular stories. I know, Ashleigh, you got so excited when the story function actually came out on LinkedIn. You said you were squealing like a little kid in a chocolate shop or something. Go and check out what Ashleigh's doing. Go and check out what Melissa's doing there, so you can see how to turn a cold audience into a warm audience, into raving fans. And then, in between that warm and raving fan is where you're going to get that contact. And just see what, the movers and shakers like Ashleigh are doing on LinkedIn. I think that's a great strategy. And in fact, Deniz, I'm going to look at LinkedIn with renewed vigor.
About time. That's good. Now, can we also talk about reversing it? You can extract the data from LinkedIn, all these people that you're connecting with, Facebook, Instagram. No other platform allows you to do that. So you can, so all of these people, and without turning it into a training session, it's B2B. So many times, I would be calling a real estate office, and I know that the principal's in there because they've just emailed me, give me a call, but the person will say, I'll just see if they're in the office at the moment. You know, there's a gatekeeper. LinkedIn puts you straight to the business owner, okay, or to direct to the person that you want, which is so important. It's a huge...
And the content as well on LinkedIn is really important. I think one mistake that a lot of people make is that they don't want to share any of their personal life on there. And I absolutely am not saying, you know, putting these real personal posts, but just a touch. So every now and then you may see a picture of me with my kids in school holidays. That's more of a random one to do. But I want people to know how I want them to know me on a personal level, because when they know me on a personal level, they want to do business. And one thing I see that people do wrong is they just have very sort of what I call boring, scripted type little posts, and they're very predictable. And so if you have, you know, just your standard Canva post, 7 tips for this, 7 tips for that, but that gives me no idea of who you are, what you're about, and, you know, what your personality is. Who would I be dealing with if I was to speak to your office? So I just think that there needs to be a nice balance of the office, the environment we work in. Yes, the nice properties that have come up for sale, but very rarely will you see a property for rent being advertised on my LinkedIn. I put it up there every now and then with a nice property to showcase the marketing and what we can do for our clients from a marketing point of view, but you will very rarely see that on mine. That's for other social media, not for LinkedIn. LinkedIn for me is education and teaching people about the market. Why is a 1.6% vacancy rate good for you? Why is it not good for you? You know, that type of thing. That is what you are there for, because that is what your clients on there want, because they're your investors, and they're your investors as well.
Yeah, absolutely well said. Now, to move it on, we could talk for hours.
I know, sorry.
You're giving some amazing insight here, which is great. What are your key points of differences? What makes SoCo Realty stand out from the rest?
The biggest one for me is our hyperlocal reputation. So 83% of our work that we do in our office from a sale and a rental point of view is in this South Perth area. And that is something that I don't think any other agent can claim. They do, because they focus on lots of areas. So that's definitely something that I mention quite a lot. The other points of differences are not necessarily strong points of difference, but I definitely do discuss them, because I believe we're different from others when it comes to it. And that is that our office does not outsource. So we don't, we used to, but we don't outsource anything. My property managers like to be a true portfolio based property manager. They like to do the leasing, they like to market the property, they like to meet the prospective tenants, they like to do everything from start to finish. So that's something that these days it's actually quite unusual in a real estate office to see, because, you know, most offices have a leasing consultant, have a VA, and like I say to everyone, that's all fine, because every office is structured differently. But as long as the client knows and understands that is how your office is, because the client actually thinks that everyone operates the same. So so subtly my point of difference is going into this new management, not to get the business, but to educate them to make the best decision. And 80% of the time, that is me. So
well done. And let's not forget your point of difference of having longevity of staff.
Yes,
real big one. And I think it's the people, the property owners out there that have already had their fingers burnt with a property manager that would really get on that. Whereas new people coming into the market, the first time they've been property owners with a rental property, they don't understand the pain of having a high turnover of staff. Yeah. Ashleigh, let's just switch now to the big pain that property management agencies, BDMs, people out there that are out there to sign up new business, and the right discounting and dealing with the fee objections and things. So how do you deal with the fee situation? How does Ashleigh Goodchild from SoCo Realty make sure that you get your full fees and you're not having to adjust your fees to that of another competitor?
very, very simply, I don't make it a big deal. It's not the focus of any discussion, the fees. So for me, we have good, reasonable, well-valued fee structure. The client gets that before the appointment, and that is it. I actually don't discuss fees. I think that people can get into that situation of, can you match, can you do cheaper, when you go to that appointment and you sit there with your fee schedule and you're looking at it, and you are controlling that appointment to show that that is what we're here to discuss. No, we're not here to discuss the fees. I don't even bring the fee schedule. That's on my other email I sent you. So by not making it a focus point of my meeting, very, very rarely does it come up. If the odd time it does come up, I would rather value add to the client as opposed to change my fees. So I would possibly say, listen, how about I offer you some free photography? You know, most agents probably include that anyway. I don't normally, but I will value add by saying, listen, I can do that for you. Or I would also outline the benefits of, listen, my database is so strong for the South Perth area. I actually reckon that I can lease your property without even advertising. Let me put it on my database. And if I can lease it off my database, which I'm very confident I can, I won't charge you an internet upload. So I give them those benefits as opposed to having to change anything. But it's really a discussion point because I don't allow it to be a discussion point.
And I think if you've worked on the trust, you've got all of that through your social media, you know, any agent out there, your aim is to have the owner, having you as their favorite, and therefore the fees don't really come into discussion. It's really
absolutely
is to have no discussion on fees, or at worst, very, very little. So well done, Ashleigh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, Deniz. We got one more question now. Ashleigh, you're on stage. Let's say you're...
No, sorry, I apologise. I've got one more question before.
All right, fire away. You fire away, and then it's going to be my turn.
Ash she's got a lot going, and you know, I'd like to know what's next. You know, you're doing some really cool things on socials and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are going to be going and watching what you're doing. But what's next? What's your goal? You know, what are you trying to achieve?
So business-wise, I want to make sure that I'm maximising the labour that I have. So I can maximise the labour I have by taking on another 50 properties. So for me, that is a business goal that I've got. So once we hit 600, that means my staff are all topped up, and I can leave them for a bit. Because my business looks after itself, it allows me to personally continue with improving my brand, which then subsequently improves the business and the growth of the business as well. But for me, I am really, really enjoying the support for property managers. I mean, I know that I give a lot, but I also do receive a lot. And I do watch a lot of property managers around Australia, and I do get a lot of inspiration from them as well. So for me, if I can, you know, mention it, I've got the PM Collective podcast, which I love to do, and I really love showcasing different property managers and their opinions on the industry, and discuss issues that sometimes aren't respected in a social media forums. So I like doing that. So I'd probably really like to continue growing that side of things from a personal brand. But I guess you've got to remember that all of that personal branding is still BDM, marketing, and bringing business to the company. It's but it's a different way of approaching new business growth. So that I just want to continue doing what I'm doing. Basically, that's just my aim. I just want to keep on doing it consistently. I don't want to be one of those people that start doing something and then just last 3 months doing it. Like, I want to create that routine. So
yeah, so you're really finding your feet. So you want to master what you're doing, you know, which is great. I think that's really important, because you really are building a dominant online influencing marketplace for yourself. So what's the name of the podcast?
So I've just looked it up. You just go to iTunes and it's PM Collective. And you're on any other podcast platforms as well than just iTunes?
Spotify.
So Spotify and iTunes, PM Collective. Lovely picture there of Ashleigh holding a cup of coffee. Deniz, you'll be happy. Great photography too. You've obviously, you know, there's all sorts that we could talk about that you've been up to. Ashleigh, I think this is not going to be the last recording we're going to be doing with you. I can see that we'll be doing some more. I just want to finish this off because we've got to wrap it up. Today has been a very long podcast. I know we've got a lot out of it. And question for you, Ashleigh. You're on stage. Let's say you're on stage at the IGT conference, and in the room is people that want to grow. So you've got BDMs, you've got business owners, you've got property managers, people that are really interested in marketing of their business and growing their business. So that's the type of crowd you've got. You've got 1 minute. What would be the number one most important thing you'd want to say to them?
It would absolutely be to trust the trainers and trust the people that are experts in their field, and allow yourself to immerse into whatever they're teaching, whether it's fee changes, social media growth, but commit to it for 6 or 12 months before you have an opinion, because I used to have an opinion without committing, and so that's my number one tip. If they tell you to do something, do it, and do it consistently, committing to 6 to 12 months before you make a decision whether you think it works or doesn't work.
Now, Ashleigh, you're the type of lady, honestly, I'm sure that you've already had people, property managers call you up, cry on your shoulder, all that sort of thing. You just that type of person that supports people. What is the best way that people can get in contact with you if they wanted to say hello, reach out or connect or whatever? What's the best way?
Any social media is absolutely fine. LinkedIn, Instagram are probably the 2 easiest ways to get hold of me. And then on my mobile, which is 0416 352 679. And actually, there's one more thing. Another great way to see sort of what I'm doing and producing is my website, which is just ashleighgoodchild.com.au. And I use that as a bit of a library to hold my blogs, my podcasts, my YouTube videos as well. So if someone wanted to see sort of everything in one library, jump on there and have a quick look, and you can sort of see the content there as well.
There you go. Goodness. And you run a property management business too. So you've got, how many kids have you got? You got
3 too many.
Children, and my goodness me, you are truly superwoman. So thank you so much, Ashleigh. It's been a great podcast. It's a real pleasure. We really feel privileged. We feel famous to be associated with you. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very kind, and thank you for having me. It's been great.
Cool. Thanks, Ashleigh. Awesome work.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.